everyone, welcome back to my channel. I can't believe it's already the end of 2022. This year absolutely flew by, and now that I have some downtime going on vacation in beautiful Switzerland, I have some time to reflect on what happened in 2022, especially what I've achieved, things that are on my mind, and my best wishes to you. I thought I'd make this episode to share a little bit with you of my reflection on 2022. It'll be a short one, but hopefully it will give you some inspiration and food for thoughts. For me, 2022 definitely hasn't been the easiest year, but it's one of those years that I'll probably remember for a very long time. There were many firsts in things that I've done, that I've accomplished. For example, thinking back on 2022, in the beginning of the year, it was my first time to give performance review to my team as a manager, which was huge to me. It gave me a sense of empowerment to be able to help people grow and develop in their role, but it was also incredibly challenging because sometimes it's just difficult to strike the balance between being too harsh or too unhelpful. I also got into my MBA at MIT, as many of you know. That was the biggest thing that I wanted to celebrate throughout the year. I'm so thankful once again for all the friends, family, mentors, colleagues who gave me immense support in pursuing that not so easy journey. More personally, it was my first time living together with a partner. We'll probably dive more into that later, but probably not. Also, it was my first time being the witness of a really close friend's wedding. At first, I thought, oh, I just show up, take some photos, I'll be there. I literally will be a witness to witness your wedding. But it turns out I actually have to sign as the witness on their marriage certificate. And to me, it was just nothing but a sacred duty that I felt very, very honored to take on. More importantly, I actually did many things that I've done before but felt like actually a big milestone as well. In May, I actually did a 3-week hotel quarantine in China on my visit, and that was the longest and toughest quarantine I've ever done in my life. For those of you who haven't done a quarantine, it's basically in jail, but a kind of fancier and relatively free version. But essentially for the first 2 weeks of my entire quarantine that time, I was sent to an unfinished hospital because there was no hotel left, no capacity at that time, and I did not have a toilet for 2 weeks. It was one of those, squatting holes, not to exaggerate. I did not have mobile services, so I didn't have signal to actually contact anyone until Wi-Fi started working. And there were actually terribly mice in the building, not so much in my room, but things that on your mind that you have to deal with mentally during that time. You can check out more about that in my blog. I put the link down below. But that was something that definitely I will remember and do not want to go through again anytime in the future. For my MBA, I also moved to Boston from Hong Kong, as you can check out from my previous video. And while I've lived on the East Coast before, Boston definitely felt like something that's brand new this time around. And I'd love to share more about that and also how it is to move countries during COVID and so on in my later videos. Seriously, that was a lot of things, and you may think, wow, this person did a lot and accomplished a lot. But in fact, I felt that nothing could have been accomplished without sacrifices of my own and also other people's, and also nothing came without challenges. Without diving too much more into it in this particular video, all I wanted to say was that there was hard work and a lot of decision-making processes behind all of the things that I did. Of course, moving forward and also carrying on from 2022 to 2023, there were still many things on my mind that I think will be there for a while. For example, looking at the recent opening up in China, where essentially everybody among the 1 billion people is going to have COVID. and how is that going to shape the opening of policy as well as diplomacy and geopolitical relationships. Those are the things that I'm definitely watching for. And equally important is recession. The economic recession is something that everybody has been speculating for a very long time, and there are very divisive views about how the economy is going to look like going into next year. As someone who is actively pursuing a career change and looking at new job opportunities, this is critically important for me as a topic and as something to look out for. And of course, just thinking back on 2022 again, we've seen the European energy crisis, we've seen the US inflation and the Fed policies and all that on my mind. And going forward, I think those things will continue to shape a lot of our decisions. And finally, of course, this is going to hit the home run for some more than others. That is the geopolitical tensions that are happening all over the world, some worse than the other. And again, some probably worse in the media than on the ground and vice versa. The Ukraine-Russia conflict is ongoing. I have classmates who are from both of those countries. I send my best regard to everything that they're going through in their personal lives, and also everybody who needs support during the difficult times. And of course, there are tensions rising all over the world. In Asia Pacific, there is the Taiwan Strait issue that's ongoing. In other parts of the world, there's the Iran nuclear deal talk that's ongoing and probably not so satisfying for a lot of people, and many more. And on top of all of that, there is climate change, which is, again, on everybody's mind as we enter this brutal winter. And hope everybody is safe and warm on the East Coast and many parts of the US that was hit by the storm recently. Phew, that was a lot. Anyway, I hope that paints a picture of how challenging it can be to make a lot of life decisions in the current socioeconomic and political environment around the world. Wherever you are, whatever you do, and whatever that you're going through with, I just want to let you know that many people, no matter how their life looks like on social media, is really going through the same types of debates and struggles, and you're not alone. I guess I will close this video with one thing that I learned in 2022. To be honest, there were a gazillion lessons that I learned, and I thought about going through the list and sharing what I learned and my takeaways in the entire year. But given that you are probably enjoying your holiday, hopefully, and are getting ready for 2023, I don't want to burden you with all these lecturing, coaching, and whatnot. But just one thing that I found quite important to take away and think and reflect on going forward for myself, and hopefully it resonates with you too. Simply letting go. And I never would have thought that this would be something that I see as the biggest takeaway for the entire year pre-COVID, but just thinking about the past couple of years, and especially a lot of decisions that I made this year, I found letting go is such a powerful thing to do, but extremely, extremely difficult. That comes in many different shapes and forms. For example, letting go of trying to control your life all the time, or whether that's in your career or going for an MBA or pursuing education. I know you're motivated, I know you're probably accomplished, but one thing sometimes to think about is, are we putting too much pressure on ourselves in setting all of these must-dos and control boundaries in our lives? And that is not to say that you should let go of your goals. And in fact, it's the completely opposite. Sometimes we try to control every little detail and piece of our lives that we actually don't really have the energy to focus on what's really important. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes letting go of things that put boundaries on yourself can actually help you refocus on things that are really important. And sometimes focusing on things that are important requires you to let go of other things. And also going beyond letting go of trying to control details of your life, there's also letting go of preconceptions about the world and about yourself. That is not something that I did not expect to learn in such a short span of time this year as I moved into my MBA life. Looking back, what I realized is that with the effect of COVID in the past couple of years, especially, we actually became very, very comfortable with our status quo. That includes the job that we have, the kind of life arrangement. A lot of times it's remote. And we interact with the same kind of people for a very long time, probably visit many familiar places. do things that you know very well. Also, because of the lack of travel for many, we tend to stay in the cultures that we're familiar with. Even though Hong Kong is a cosmopolitan city where I interact with many cultures all the time, coming into MBA seriously made me feel like I was so sheltered. There were so many preconceptions and understandings that I've developed over the past couple years and this year no longer stand. And that is a little bit of a shocking discovery of the knowledge that you've built over the years. And there are new things that you've discovered about yourself, whether that's kind of how you prefer to socialize, how you prefer to learn, what kind of friends that you're most comfortable with, and so on. So a lot of that is a journey in and of itself. And I find that sometimes letting go of what you knew before can help you actually better open up and accept things that are surprising. I'm usually not a New Year's resolution person just because sometimes my goals and things that I set out for myself are kind of cringy. But I do actually highly recommend everybody setting some time to think about some things that you look forward to in 2023 and what you need to do to make them even more exciting and motivating for yourself. I hope you also find the best pace for yourself and become the best version of yourself in 2023, perhaps with some sparks of joy and inspiration along the way. And I'll keep working on creating more content that's interesting, fun, educational, and some things that hopefully you can take with you on your journey going forward. Have a lovely holiday season and Happy New Year. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next year. Bye.